psychotic?
Yes.
What do you think's wrong with you?
Everything.
Let's do it.
Show everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. An unprecedented amount of families have children struggling with mental health issues. It's certainly worse with the pandemic and all the quarantine. And my guest today, Patty, says her son Ridge is one of those young people. Now, in high school, Ridge was a star football player and planned to study agriculture, but after a concussion on the field, a night of severe fraternity hazing, and experimenting with drugs, he's been spiraling ever since. Take a look.
Ridge was such a good kid, and then it's almost like he died because he's in a different world now. For the majority of Ridge's life, he functioned completely normal, had lots of friends, and then it just went south.
I just kept, I just keep on.
Ridge developed tics in his face and his body. Ridge has a hard time communicating.
That's what I do for fun. That's what yeah, like that.
Ridge's smile is uncontrollable, and his eyebrows raised up. It's just not him. Sometimes his arm movements, he'll have crazy arm movement. He'll go down, and he'll have his lips pooched together like, and it just stays there. Sometimes Ridge would just say the word fruit.
Fresh fruit, nutritious, exercise.
Then he would say the word power, and that would be it.
Powerful. I think that's a great thing.
I remember looking back when Ridge had a concussion playing high school football. That's when he started getting facial tics. I did not take Ridge to the doctor. I wish I could go back and change it. Ridge went to college, and then it was a disaster. They did different kind of drugs, synthetic marijuana. Ridge was severely hazed. Ridge ended up failing out of college. He could not function. Since Ridge has been home from college, my life has been a living hell. Ridge is not able to hold a job. I don't know what Ridge is dealing with. I'm way over my head.
Well, Patty, it's good to meet you. You say that you're in over your head, and
In high school, and he did really well. He knew how to feed them. That's kind of like being a chemist, trying to feed a show pig.
right, he was in FFA, right?
Yes.
And this is a big competition, and there's a lot that goes into that.
Yes, sir. It's hours and hours of work.
Before college, if we can just kind of run things down, he was really on top of things in his life. He was a football star. He showed these champion pigs, as we said. He had good grades, right?
Yes.
He had agricultural scholarships. He was popular, funny, well-liked, very expressive. He was an outgoing.
Yes, sir. He was very outgoing.
Very extroverted. Yes. But then since college, he lost his scholarships because of bad grades. He couldn't transfer from one school to another. He became a heavy drinker. He was abusing Adderall. He got involved with K2. They call it synthetic marijuana, which is a misnomer because it's not marijuana at all. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. And then he started to develop facial and body tics. He started wandering the streets. He's had a few jobs, but they only last very short time, right?
Yes, sir.
Because he's very unpredictable. You don't know if he's going to show up or what he's going to do when he gets there. And so he's lost 3 jobs that he was able to get. And he gets them because he can be presentable for a short period of time.
Yes, sir.
But then you get into what we're looking at here with these unusual postures and tics, and he might not show up and be found wandering on the streets doing this kind of thing.
I'm afraid when he's on the street, sometimes he tries to act like he's jumping out in front of a car, and I'm like, I've got to find some help for my kid.
Okay. Now, you say he's told you that he hears voices.
Yes, sir.
He'll talk sometimes for an hour or hours in a real low tone, seemingly talking to himself.
Happens quite often. I mean, I would sit and watch him to see if I could figure out what he was saying, but it was too low.
He's kind of muttering.
Yes.
In addition to the drugs and all, you say you had a concussion playing football.
Yes, sir.
Were you aware of it at the time?
Probably about a couple of days after it happened. Yeah, I was. He told me that his head felt, he got knocked out. This is where I wish I could go back and do it over again and know more about a football concussion. But he'd tell me that his head felt funny. It feels like it's a washing machine in there. And I'd say, Rich, you want to go to the doctor? And, well, no, he don't want to miss the game because he had more games.
Have you tried to get him help?
Many times. Because he's of age, I couldn't do a whole lot.
Right.
You'd have to say that he's fixing to hurt himself or hurt somebody. Then the ambulance would come, take him to the hospital. He'd spend 14 days there, then let out again. And it wasn't taking care of what was really wrong, the mental part. It just keeps happening and happening, and nothing's working.
Okay. Well, coming up, did Patty write to me about Ridge? The answer might surprise you. We're going to meet her friend Pamela and talk about how all this unfolded and where it's headed next. And by the way, we are going to meet and talk to Ridge.
I was driving down the road and I saw a teenager doing ninja/James Bond type move, crouching down like this. And I said, "Hey, Ridge," and he immediately became normal.
And later, you had a head injury when you were playing football?
Yes, sir.
What position did you play?
Linebacker.
Were you good at it?
Yeah, I was all right. I was pretty good.
Do you think there's something wrong with the way you function right now?
Monday.
Since Autumn's been little, she's always wanted to live in the forest.
Well, this ain't the forest. They're dumpster diving for food.
Homeless and brainwashed.
Your daughter is isolated in the wilderness with somebody you describe as paranoid and armed.
I'm going to get the call that something happened to her.
I want to live with fear, not on it.
You're living in the sand and digging a hole in the ground to go to the bathroom.
That's Monday. Then on Tuesday, her husband's an addict.
He left our baby in an overheated garage.
She's doing a lot of the mothering.
She is not. She does help me when I ask for help. You just said I don't help. Which is it?
That's Tuesday. Big trucks.
I totally believe Ridge is using alcohol to medicate. Ridge gets completely hammered. The drinking makes Ridge's mental illness even worse. And when he's drinking, he gets in trouble with the law. Ridge has had multiple public intoxications. I'm really worried about Ridge.
Surprisingly, Patty wasn't the one to write to me. It was her friend Pamela who says she didn't know the extent of Ridge's problems until she saw it firsthand.
A year ago, I was driving down the road and I saw, I thought was a teenager doing what I perceived to be ninja/James Bond type move, crouching down like this, and then back to the karate moves. At first, I thought that it was a crazy person or was high or something. Then when I saw it was Ridge, I rolled the window down and I said, "Hey, Ridge," and he immediately became normal. And I said, "Ridge, do you want to ride?" And he immediately went back into the ninja karate move. So I knew then that this was mental illness. Patty knew that Ridge had an issue, but she just didn't know how to deal with it. Ridge had escaped from a mental hospital. The schools got locked down and they found him on the roof. Ridge is facing criminal issues, and my biggest fear is that Ridge is going to get put in prison for doing things that he has no control over. Patty's enabled Ridge's behavior because she doesn't know how to deal with it properly. I contacted the Dr. Phil's show. I do hate to see Patty go through the heartbreak of this with Rich for the rest of her life.
Well, Pamela, it's good to meet you.
You too. Thank you.
You're driving down the street and you see someone doing what?
What I call James Bond / ninja moves.
Okay.
Very erratic behavior. So I rolled my window down when I realized it was Ridge. Said, "Hey, Ridge, what's going on?" He looked straight at me and said, "Hey, Pam, just walking to my mom's shop." I said, "Would you like a ride?" And he immediately went back into the involuntary movements. And that's when I got a hold of Patty and told her that he had a mental issue.
Okay, now you just used the word involuntary.
Yes.
So did you, and you don't, it's hard to know whether it's voluntary or not, but did you get the sense that it just kind of took him over? He couldn't stop it if he wanted to?
Right.
But he did stop it when you called his name.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
But so you called his name, so that snapped him for a second.
Yes. Yes.
But after that, he lapsed back into it right away.
Yes.
Did
After
you-
about 30 seconds.
Yeah. Has he ever been aggressive with either one of you?
Yeah, he'll get aggressive with me. I feel like I'm his trigger. If I'm anywhere, he gets more vocal, calls me names that he's pushed me, doing that to my face when I'm driving, or he'll grab the steering wheel.
And what do you say?
At that time when that happened, I pulled over on the side of the road and I hit him back to try to make him get off of me.
All right. What happened then?
He stepped back. He was like stunned, because I don't hit my kids.
So he did stop.
Yes.
Did he apologize for that at any time?
No.
What do you think's wrong with this young man?
I think that he has some damage to his brain. I don't know how it got there when it's not Rich. It's not Rich at all.
And this is not the young man you've known. How long have you known him?
His whole life.
Okay.
Me and Patty's
So
been
you've known him
friends 40
25 years.
Yes.
And so you didn't see any signs of this in 7th grade, 8th grade, high school. You never saw any bizarre behavior.
Oh, absolutely not. No, it was actually kind of a little fantasy of mine that him and my oldest granddaughter would get together is when they graduated college someday, because he was that kid.
Yeah.
He was that kid.
We're going to meet Ridge's sister, Rainey, who says that Ridge and Patty trigger each other. We're going to meet her and find out what's happening environmentally when we come back.
He has these tics, so he has weird body movements. He's very repetitive. Says yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I don't think Ridge believes there's anything wrong with him. I think he thinks he is fine.
Ridge takes everything out on me. I am Ridge's trigger. It's gotten pretty hairy sometimes. Ridge will call me all kinds of names. A bitch. I hate your guts. You're the devil. I wish you were dead.
I don't give a what you gotta say about it. Like, I'm the heart.
Kids that have mental illness, they always lash out at the one that helps them the most. I just try to weather the storm.
Another person who has seen Ridge spiral from really an all-American young man, high school football star, to manic behavior, substance abuse, legal trouble, is his sister, Rainey, who says their hands are really tied because Ridge refuses to really acknowledge that he has a problem. He's an adult now. He's 25. So they're feeling very helpless. Take a look.
Ridge can't hold eye contact. He can't engage in conversation. He has these tics, so he has weird body movements. He is very repetitive. Says yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I don't think Ridge believes there's anything wrong with him. Ridge believes he doesn't need to be on any medication. We're here 2 years later, and that has not happened. He has been taking to a few different behavioral centers over the past 4 years now. He's a very smart person. He knows what to say, so that way those hospitals get him out. Growing up, I helped to raise Ridge, helping him apply for college, enroll in classes, and helping my mom out that way. My mom was definitely overwhelmed. He really hones in on my mom and picks on her. I don't think that he would ever intentionally hurt her, but he's not mentally stable. I do think that there are actions that she's done that have hindered him. She doesn't want to see her son homeless. As a mom, what else are you supposed to do to keep your son alive? I mean, so that's where the enabling part comes. So I'm very worried about him.
Brady, thank you for being here. What do you think is likely to be most dangerous for him? Is he going to get where he doesn't belong? Is he going to step into traffic? Is he going to OD? What is it that's the most dangerous thing that you're most worried about?
All of the above. Really getting somewhere where he doesn't belong, getting around people who don't know him, stepping out in front of cars, acting erratic in front of the wrong crowd. Mm-hmm. The list can go on.
You can tell when he's going into a manic episode, right?
Oh, yes, you can tell when he's spiraling. I feel like it's more often than not, but you can, if there's any sort of emotion happening or stressful event or a happy event, you can always guarantee that he's going to go into a spiral and a manic at those type of emotional events.
Let's talk about onset. Looking back, can you point to an event or a time period where this went south?
College. It was definitely college when things went south. He comes from a small town where he really succeeded at all the things that he did, and then he went into college where I don't feel like he really understood how to be a college student. And so he didn't understand like he has to be self-disciplined and study and work and really gain those good grades where it all used to come.
Would it be safe to say he was kind of a small town golden? Time to meet this young man. We're going to talk to Ridge next and see what he has to say. And I want to tell you in advance, we're not talking about a young man that's fluidly conversant. And so I'm going to ask you as you watch this to watch it with some compassion. We're not bringing him on here to be ridiculed or embarrassed in any way. He's doing the absolute best that he can. But I think you may see some things here that are informative and instructive about some things you might be seeing in some of your own young people. And again, I say one of the important things to do is recognize when it's time to get some professional help. And you've already said you wish you'd have done that a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
But it's never too late. I promise you, it's never too late. So coming up, does Ridge think he has a problem, and is he in a position to really self-assess? We'll meet him with patience when we come back.
Do you know that you're going to be on the Doctor's Illustrated?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you excited about that?
Yes. Yes. I really am.
Rich has told me he can hear voices. Sometimes Rich talks to himself. Rich would wander the streets talking to himself for hours. It's so low you can't hear it. But then all of a sudden he'll just break out in this big smile. It's almost uncontrollable. I'm just at the end of my rope. I don't even know what to do next. There's no help.
Ridge's family and friends are extremely concerned about his unpredictable behavior, his unwillingness to seek help or stick with it if he does. But what does Ridge have to say?
How's life right now?
It's pretty good. It's pretty well. Yes, sir. Drinking a bunch of water. Staying organized, clean, fresh fruit, nutritious, exercise, meditation and yoga.
Do you know why you're here?
Yes, sir.
Do you know that you're going to be on the Dr. Phil show?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you excited about that?
Yes. I really am, because I think it'll sort of comfort, wellness, wholesomeness.
How do you get along with your mom?
Very good, very good.
You ever get angry at your mom?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you like about drinking alcohol?
I like the social atmosphere. It's really the cherry on top. Gives you that freedom to really enjoy, who you're surrounded with.
Have you ever gotten in trouble from drinking?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do you drink a lot?
Yeah, I drink responsibly. I want to sort of find peace for a while. I want to get back to the routine, the good life. Yeah,
What's
yes,
your
sir.
favorite TV show?
Of course, the Dr. Phil show. I took into consideration, once I launched it, just sort of, how comfortable, the show is, and sort of the role it plays.
Are you excited to meet Dr. Phil?
Yes, sir.
Well, Ridge is joining us virtually at this point. Ridge, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm fired up. I'm having fun. And I'm really, really, really excited about this opportunity. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I'm all ears.
Well, good. How old are you now, Ridge?
I'm 25.
And what do you do for a job?
I let's see, everything. I want to work. I want to do something outside.
Want to work outdoors?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Okay. I want to say 5 things to you here. Lamp, dog, canyon, sun, and pool. Okay, you hear those?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you to remember those, and I'm going to ask you to repeat them to me here in a few minutes, okay?
Okay, so we got lamp, sun, pool.
Dog, canyon.
Dog, canyon, lamp, sun, pool.
Okay. You had a head injury when you were playing football?
Yeah, yes, sir.
What position did you play?
Linebacker.
I played that position. That's a tough job. Were you good at it?
Yeah, I was all right. I was pretty good.
Do you think there's something wrong with the way you function right now? Do you think you're not functioning as well as you could?
Yes, sir.
What do you think's wrong?
Moving forward, I would like to feel more powerful.
Do you think you have trouble concentrating?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you think you have trouble controlling your moods and emotions?
Yeah, sometimes. Let's see.
Do you have any career goals? Is there something you want to do with your life?
Yeah, yes, sir. I want to find out, where to look at. I guess, so to speak. Find, where the world needs me the most.
Do you want to get married and have children? Do you want to stay single? What do you hope to do?
A house. I'm thinking about a house one day. Being the husband one day would be pretty, I guess, be pretty cool.
Great. A little bit ago, I asked you to remember 5 items. Can you tell me what they were?
Yes, sir. It is a canyon, a dog, a sunrise, a pool, and a lamp.
Well, you got 5 out of 5. So that's great. I think you are a really nice and charming young man, and I think you just got a few things you need to get organized. And I think you would get back on track in your life and do some of the things you want to do. And I would love to help you do that.
Yes, sir.
And I'm kind of like a coach, you know. I want people to help me help them, if you know what I mean.
Right on. Yeah, yes, sir. I'll shoot sprints.
So you're willing to hustle up and do the things that I put in front of you.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to let you go right now, but we're going to talk again soon, okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Thanks very much. All right. Coming up, there's some explanations for Ridge's drastic changes. I think so, and I'm going to talk to the people that love him about what I think they are when we come back. It is 100 times the strength of THC, and you hit your brain with that. And then you hit it again and again and again. And now you start pouring alcohol on top of it. Again and again and again. And you know what happens when you start using that kind of drug and pouring alcohol on top of it?
Monday.
Since Autumn's been little, she's always wanted to live in the forest.
No, this ain't the forest. They're dumpster diving for food.
Homeless and brainwashed.
Your daughter is isolated in the wilderness with somebody you describe as paranoid and armed.
I'm going to get the call that something happened to her.
I want to live with deer, not on it.
You're living in the sand and digging a hole in the ground to go to the bathroom.
That's Monday. Then on Tuesday, her husband, Fanatic.
He left our baby in an overheated garage.
She's doing a lot of the mothering.
She is not. She does help me when I ask for
You
help.
just said I don't help. Which is it?
That's Tuesday.
Ridge has probably been arrested 6 or 7 times. The last time was resisting arrest. He had been drinking, and he was loud. He was out of control. Ridge doesn't understand that he's facing serious problems with the law. Ridge is looking at jail time from some of the stuff he's done. Ridge is not a bad kid. He's just dealing with mental illness. Jail is not where he should be.
Well, Patty and her friend Pamela say that Patty's son Ridge was full of promise when he graduated high school and set off for college. Failing grades caused him to move back home. And when he came back, he was not the young man that left. Something dramatic happened. And I think I have some pretty good theories about what took place. I've got a prop that I want to use. I guess it'll just maybe leave a visual in your mind because I want this to be really, really clear. You can think about this as your son and you get hit in the head. That is a traumatic brain injury. And if he gets a concussion, for some people, you know, they get it, it goes away, no big deal. But for some people, that becomes a traumatic brain injury and can have a profound effect on them. Then he goes off to school and he has an adventure with drugs. Now, he started taking what's called synthetic marijuana, K2, spice. That's not really synthetic marijuana. That's dried plant material that they spray chemicals on. And it is 100 times the strength of THC. And you hit your brain with that. And then you hit it again and again and again. And now you start pouring alcohol on top of it. Again and again and again. And you know what happens when you start using that kind of drug and pouring alcohol on top of it? You start falling down a lot. You start running into stuff a lot. So you start having repeated brain hits over and over and over again. And then you have to start looking at the research. And the research tells us that if you have a particular gene that's called AKT1, you become 7 times more susceptible to the onset of psychosis if you're using marijuana than if you don't use marijuana. That's if you're not talking about K2 synthetic marijuana. A lot of it is just simply rat poison. And I'm looking here at what he's doing, and I wrote it down. He's using K2, he's drinking to excess, he's had a traumatic brain injury, and he goes to get a CAT scan, and the CAT scan says the anatomy of his brain is normal. The anatomy of his brain is normal. That doesn't mean that he hasn't had a traumatic brain injury. When you keep insulting the brain over and over and over and over again, you change the function. And I talked to him. His working memory is somewhat intact. He remembered 5 items across about an 8-minute time, which tells me he's an intelligent young man. He has some function there. He's not destroyed his brain, but he has impairment clearly. And it may well be a drug-induced psychosis. I can't sit here and diagnose him because I've just talked to him for 8 minutes, but I see all the signs and I look at his history here. This isn't just a mental illness here. This is there's a neurological component here. If you could see the world from inside Ridge looking out, you would be horrified. The courage that I think this young man is displaying right now by finding a way to piece his days together shows amazing spirit.
You're going to be in the Los Angeles area and would like to watch a live taping here in the studio, go to drphil.com and click on Be Part of the Audience and select In Studio.
And if you would like to be in our virtual audience, select Attend Virtually. We have a good time here, don't we, audience?
All you need is a computer with a camera and high-speed internet. We'll see you soon.
Now, I want to introduce someone that I think is going to help us a lot here. Joining us virtually is Dr. Daniel Amen. Now, Dr. Amen is a double board certified psychiatrist, physician, 9-time New York Times best-selling author, whose new book is You Happier, The 7 Neuroscience Secrets of Feeling Good Based on Your Brain Type. And Dr. Amen has the largest database of brain scans in the world. Dr. Amen, welcome.
Hi, Dr. Phil.
You have studied this situation. Talk to us about what you think's going on here.
Well, I actually agree with everything you said. In fact, it's the first time I've seen you do that prop with the bat, and I thought it was brilliant. It stacked stresses. When you're a linebacker, it's actually the second worst position for football and traumatic brain injury, because every play, your head is going to where the ball is and you get hit or you hit someone. So even though he was only knocked out once, he's probably hit in the head thousands of times. And CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, often can present itself with things like tics and unusual behavior, sometimes even psychotic behavior. So traumatic brain injury, then on top of that, you add drug abuse. And with synthetic chemicals, they're probably damaging an area of the brain called the basal ganglia. And that's why you see these abnormal tics and abnormal facial movements. His basal ganglia has probably been poisoned. And then if you add on top of that alcohol and then stress. So because he has not been able to make his life work, there is chronic, unremitting stress for his family, yes, but also for Ridge. And having a normal CT scan, that's good. It means the anatomy of his brain is fine. At Amen Clinics, we do a study called SPECT. I can guarantee you his SPECT study is not going to be normal, going to show trauma and toxicity.
If you could see the world from inside Ridge looking out, you would be horrified. The courage that I think this young man is displaying right now by finding a way to piece his days together and tries to put a shine on this every day, I think shows amazing spirit and amazing courage. And Dr. Amen has agreed to do an evaluation on him and put together a treatment plan where we can get his brain back to functioning. Dr. Amen, what do you think?
I'm really hopeful, especially with your encouragement that we'll look at his brain. Hopefully he'll fall in love with his brain, stop poisoning his brain, right? Because you're not going to get better if you continue to poison it. And 80% of my NFL players showed improvement in as little as 2 months when they did what I asked them to do. Yeah. So I would have hope, but we have to be serious. Otherwise, he'll end up in the mental health system and basically end up in jail. And I don't want that for him.
No, and we're going to talk more about that in just a minute because that is looming on the horizon. So we're going to have to take a break. Coming up, what is the plan for this family now? I'm going to tell them what I think needs to happen specifically after the break. You want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, live strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today. Is this making sense to y'all?
Yes, finally something makes sense.
We don't deal with what's happening at the brain. You're just building a house on sand. That's not going to fix anything. You're just going to make him more convenient for the world because you zombie him out by making him more convenient for everybody else. But he's just in a haze. That's not what we want to do. We want to work this from the inside out. And Dr. Amen, that's where we have to start, right? We got to find out what the brain is doing and what it's not doing.
Yeah, and if we don't look, we don't know. I mean, it's really easy to call him psychotic, schizophrenic, but what does that really mean? It means his brain is not working right, and so we have to assess it, get him to stop doing things that hurt it, and then put it in a healing environment.
And we can go to this court with this alternative plan and say, look, finally, there's a plan here to get this young man on track. I would support that. Dr. Amen would support that. But Ridge has to immerse himself in this and get behind it in a serious way.
Yes, I think he will.
Yeah, I think he better.
Yeah, I think you're going to be a good coach, aren't you?
What they want is for him to be a contributing member of society. He does not belong in jail. He belongs in treatment. And this, to me, seems like the best alternative you've seen in 7 years, I would think.
Oh, my gosh. I've never even heard this before. I mean, I'm in awe. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're behind this?
Absolutely. You're the answer to our prayer, that's for sure.
So we'll go down this path. Fair enough?
Thank you so much,
All right.
Dr. Phil.
All right. All right. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks